Hi, everybody. Welcome to Wednesday's show, falling on the 17th day, can you believe it, of April. Clouds starting to build out there, but no sign of any showers tonight because there shouldn't be any. However, we'll talk about the shower chances, which are going to ramp up along with winds tomorrow and tomorrow night. This storm system moving out of the plains in our direction, heading this way, also brings the potential for some stormy weather tomorrow night, late, but more so into your Friday. I think I'll give you a better timeline. We'll talk about a rather cold and dreary day for the first half of your Easter weekend, but how we still think, most wholeheartedly, that it's going to be a really nice Easter Sunday. Good Friday, unless a little out of order. A little bit iffy, and I'll tell you that as well in just a few moments. We'll talk about the Eastern Kentucky doctors, which were wrapped up in the task force roundup and takedown of historic proportions that made news today. And we'll talk about those from the Eastern Kentucky area specifically. The Montgomery County Fiscal Court met last night. A couple of things we'll take away from that: how they're planning on paying for more than $125,000 worth of equipment and then some, and your school calendar discussed in the Montgomery County Board of Education meeting last night for next year. Some significant changes, and also some changes to maybe keep that calendar intact throughout the school year in lieu of sickness and bad weather and everything. So we'll get to those reports in just a few moments, your weather forecast, and much more. Let's go ahead and begin right now with Attorney General William Barr and the Department of Health and Human Services today, announcing that alongside with the help of multiple law enforcement partners across the country, enforcement actions have been taken involving 60 people charged across 11 federal districts. We're talking about a total thus far of 31 doctors, 7 pharmacists, 8 nurse practitioners, and 7 other licensed medical professionals and others for their alleged participation in the illegal prescribing and distributing of opioids and other dangerous narcotics, and for health care fraud schemes as well. Attorney General Barr says the opioid epidemic is the deadliest drug crisis in American history, and Appalachia has suffered the consequences more than perhaps any other region. But the Department of Justice is doing its part to help end that crisis. One of the department's most promising new initiatives, they say, is the Criminal Division's Appalachian Region Prescription Opioid Strike Force, which began its work just this past December, and now just 4 months later, the team of federal agents and 14 prosecutors has charged these 60 defendants for alleged crimes related to millions of prescription opioids. So for the Appalachian Strike Force locations in the Southern District of Ohio, there were half a dozen people, 2 doctors, 3 registered pharmacists charged with several counts. In the Western District of our state, a doctor charged with a controlled substance count and healthcare fraud counts as well in connection with signing or providing pre-signed blank prescriptions to office staff who then use them to prescribe controlled substances themselves when he wasn't even in the office, often for cash. And then here in the Eastern District of Kentucky, a total of 5 people charged. Here in the Eastern District of Kentucky, a total of 5 individuals were charged. That includes 3 doctors, a dentist, and an office assistant, all charged in connection with numerous healthcare fraud and or controlled substance schemes. In one case, 47-year-old Dr. Scotty Akers of Pikeville stands charged with allowing his Facebook friends to pick up prescriptions at his residence in exchange for cash. He would also sign prescriptions for people who sent Facebook message requests or messenger requests for the prescriptions to his girlfriend slash office assistant, and she would deliver those prescriptions also for cash. She is 32-year-old Sarissa Stamper, also known as Sarissa Collier. Dr. Denver Tackett, he's 64, of McDowell. He's also charged with writing prescriptions for opioids without any sort of a legitimate or real medical purpose. He's also accused of removing patients' teeth without any real need so they can get prescriptions thereafter and pills, and scheduling follow-up appointments that were not needed or unnecessary, and billing inappropriately for Medicaid and Medicare services. 44-year-old Mohammed Mazumdar of Prestonsburg is actually facing nearly a dozen charges after authorities say that he unlawfully distributed controlled substances to Appalachian primary care patients where he was employed, and to patients at least one other clinic. And another doctor whose photograph wasn't available as of airtime but was identified as 60-year-old Dr. Cy Gotti of Pikeville, who runs a 5-clinic family practice for pain management, is also accused of billing Medicare for urine testing that was never performed and other services that are still under investigation. Authorities say that anyone suffering from any addiction can find help by calling 833-8KY-HELP, H-E-L-P. Altogether, that entire takedown involves some, and we're talking about 4 months, 350,000 prescriptions and more than 32 million pills. 32 million. Now, as for some additional information that I've been able to gather on those charged in eastern Kentucky, Dr. Mazumdar is charged with 4 counts of healthcare fraud, a count of conspiracy to commit healthcare fraud, 4 counts of unlawful distribution of controlled substances, and 1 count of conspiracy to unlawfully distribute a controlled substance. Dr. Goody is charged with 8 counts of healthcare fraud. Dr. Tackett is charged with a single count of healthcare fraud, but 15 counts of unlawful distribution of controlled substances. Akers and Stamper, or Collier, his girlfriend, are both charged with conspiracy to unlawfully distribute controlled substances and 4 counts of unlawful distribution of controlled substances. McGoffin County headlines are after these words.
Appalachian Wireless has a question for you. Would you rather pay $650 or $66 for a smartphone? If you think this answer is simple, then the Appalachian Advantage plan is for you. Pay less upfront for today's hottest smartphones, and then pay just a few dollars more every month on the monthly bill. Many smartphones are $5 a month or less after you factor in the $20 discount from the Advantage plan, compared to the contract offering. Better service, bigger savings. That's today's Appalachian Wireless. Payment agreement required. See store for details.
Spring's here, well, at the seasonal shop, with new arrivals in every department, like women's mud pie and Charlie Page clothes, the perfect addition to your wardrobe. And Simply Southern is simply fully stocked, and they've got a lot of new items: new short sleeve tees, key rings, planners, caps, wallets, purses, and more. And speaking of more, Mary Square is at the shop. This beautiful line makes a perfect gift or a great way to brighten your day, featuring everything from Bible covers to notebooks to lanyards, badge holders, bottles, cups, and ID holders. And their home decor section is absolutely filled wall to wall with new arrivals, all to make your house the home you want it to be. All at Fraser's Prater Drugs seasonal shop. Your new IGA has fresh brewed coffees and delicious donuts made 7 days a week. Daily made breads piled high with any meat or cheese you can think of. And come and taste the salads, broccoli and cauliflower, cornbread, and their gourmet chicken salad made fresh right here. They've got fruit and vegetable and meat trays made with a little love, and celebrate anything with perfectly professionally made cakes. All fresh and ready for your next meal, party, or event at your Sagersville IGA, where it's a new day, place, and way to shop. Ultra low carb and ultra tasty doesn't come together very often, but it has at your Sagersville Lee's with our new low carb plate. With tender all-white breast strips oven roasted in our famous spices, our famous green beans, and our new ham-seasoned cooked cabbage. And for a limited time, get $2 off with a coupon in this week's edition of the Sagersville Independent. That's right, save $2 and eat just about as many carbs at your Sagersville Lee's famous recipe. Don't drive or let your family drive in this or this before doing this. Stopping at Conley Tire in Staffordsville for brakes, oil, alignment, and of course, tires. Thousands of tires in stock every day to fit anything, with 6 months no interest financing and over 33 years of quality service with a smile. Conley Tire in Staffordsville.
If you've driven down the road, watched TV, or listened to the radio, you've seen or heard the ads for the Sign and Settle law firms. When I hear of someone settling their case for pennies on the dollar with these firms, it chills my soul. If you've been injured, it's all about the money. I'm attorney Jeff Lovely. I represent injured people who deserve all the money they can get. Call me at my Sayersville office at 349-4522, West Liberty at 743-1965.
Just like that, we've jumped into the spring allergy season with all the buds and blooms, tree and grass pollen, mold, and all the nasal congestion, sneezing, itchy nose and eyes and throat that they cause. Don't get caught off guard. Protect yourself daily with a quick trip to Parkway Pharmacy for over-the-counter and prescription relief. And you can always log into parkwaypharmacy.com to have your prescriptions ready when you get there at Parkway Pharmacy in Sayersville. Well, it was bound to happen. I want to say sooner or later, but perhaps more accurately, I should say again. Bound to happen again. That's probably correct. Last night, I sent our videographer, Wes Brown, out to cover a couple of meetings and myself covering a third story that we'll try to maybe air later. But nevertheless, I told him to make sure he was at the McGoffin County Fiscal Court meeting promptly at 6:30. And he was, just as it was ending, as it promptly started at 6, as it was supposed to. Nevertheless, we have a bit of coverage of the most important topics discussed through a following interview and also a field trip that the fiscal court and judge executive took afterwards, if you will. It's a very important week for our telecommunications professionals, that being our dispatchers, and they were recognized here locally. Last night, there were a few other items of business, one of those being the judge explaining to the fiscal court and audience how the county was going to pay for more than $125,000 in new and much needed equipment.
We got almost $110,000 in, is 108 and some change, from a FEMA project that was back in 2015. We wasn't expecting to get that money in. We made $25,000 on our surplus property sale this weekend, so we're throwing a couple thousand, 15,000 more with it. And we're going to go out and buy a couple excavators and hopefully a loader for a lot. Right now we're loading gravel in the trucks with a backhoe, and if we had a loader out there, it'd be a lot more efficient, and I'd be able to put that backhoe out onto roads doing road work. The other thing we done was we authorized CAECO to be an agent of record for the purpose of receiving insurance quotes. We have a local agent that handles our health, life, and disability policies. But we're going to go ahead and get some quotes on those from another insurance agent, and part of the process to do that is authorizing them to be an agent of record. We received some excess fees from the clerk, and we approved a contract with Central Kentucky Fiber Resources to continue purchasing our recyclable materials, and that's just a continuation of the contract we've had in the past. And the final thing that we done was I proclaimed, or the fiscal court proclaimed, that this is National Public Safety Telecommunicators Week, which is basically our 911 folks. We can't say enough about those folks. They do a great job. It is an invaluable service to our community, and I'm tickled to death to be able to recognize them. I'm glad there's a national week for that, so we can do that. And if you see one of those folks out, thank them for what they do.
Which is what the judge and fiscal court did immediately following the meeting when they went across the road to the McGoffin County 911 Center located in the community center and recognized our dispatchers, all able to be there with the exception of Paula Connolly, some being there since 911's creation more than 2 decades ago. These folks responsible for dealing with those stressful situations at times, which can more often than not involve life or death situations that they have to handle with compassion, but as well with professionalism.
My name is Scott Jenkins. I'm the director of McGoffin 911. 911 was founded in 1995, and I've been here with them since day one, so we've got 24 years of service here at the agency. Glad to be able to serve McGoffin County.
I'm Leslie Houghton. I've been with 911 for almost 17 years now.
I'm Una Miller. I've been here for 20 years with 911. We started over there on the other side when I first started. We came over here.
I'm Jonna Collins. I guess Paula's the youngest one, but 5 years this December.
I'm Veronica Little. I've been here since 2003. I enjoy serving the people of McGoffin County.
What does it mean to y'all to be honored like this, or do you have anything you want to add to it? Or
It's nice to be recognized. We've never been recognized before. It means a lot.
Yep.
I've got some more on the significantly changed and updated school calendar for next year and how school officials hope to keep it unchanged once it begins in just a few moments. Right now, before we go into our McGoffin Farm Bureau community calendar, a couple of other announcements I need to add. The Democratic Women's Club of Magoffin County is cordially inviting all Magoffin County citizens to a meet and greet to host Democratic candidates running for office. This is Monday the 29th in the Ramey Park, the shelter by the Veterans Memorial. Attending thus far, Mr. Robert Haley Conway, candidate for Kentucky State Agriculture Commissioner, Mr. Josh Mers, candidate for Kentucky State Treasurer, and they've also extended the invitation to others. Hope to have more. I will get you updated on that, but that is once again Monday the 29th, 6 o'clock in the Ramey Park. One of the announcements that I have on the calendar, which is forthcoming, comes from the Magoffin County Senior Citizen Center about commodities being distributed tomorrow. And I need to add to that, I got a message earlier today from Senior Citizens Director Marlene Howard, who said that she just received an email from God's Pantry. And essentially, God's Pantry is having to cut their allotments. So to try to pick up some of that slack, they're just asking that any other agencies out there who distribute food boxes, like our Senior Citizen Center, and who have boxes that aren't being picked up and left over, well, that they drop their allotments so that God's Pantry can use those elsewhere. So it's vital, says Marlene, that you pick up your box if you're on the waiting list, so Magoffin County doesn't risk losing some of their allotment of about 216 that they get each month. With that said, here's the rest of tonight's community calendar. A reminder, commodities will be given out tomorrow at the Magoffin County Senior Citizen Center starting at 12:30 for everyone on the active list, and there's a waiting list for everyone that will start after 2:30 if there are any that aren't picked up, but they cannot hold those because of it being Good Friday the following day, and there will also be no meals at the center or Meals on Wheels this Friday as well. The Water into Wine Food Pantry is distributing tomorrow for their senior day. They also will be giving out commodities tomorrow after 12:30. This is their monthly allocation. Their regular day of distribution was earlier today. Tomorrow, senior day, 8:30 till 3, and they always break for lunch from 11:30 till 12:30. The Stinson United Baptist Church is having church services in honor of Easter. They start tonight with communion and foot washing. They're also Thursday, Friday, and Saturday night at 7 as well. Easter sunrise service at 7 that morning. They'll have breakfast and then Sunday morning services at 11 with several special guest ministers, and they hope you too. The Magoffin County Shriners has a special called meeting for the Magoffin County Shriners has a special called meeting set for tomorrow at 7 o'clock at the Shrine Club. Your attendance is greatly needed. And a cross walk. They'll be carrying the cross through Sagersville this Friday, Good Friday, beginning at 6. Everyone is invited to attend. They're going to meet at the first shelter on the right as you go down into the Ramey Park, and then carry the cross through Sagersville in honor of Jesus. That is this Friday, Good Friday. A benefit is going to be held in honor of Licia Dyer, Elizabeth Licia Dyer Wireman, Saturday from 11 till 7 at the Lloyd M. Hall Community Center. They're going to have a lot of food for sale, a lot of entertainment. They're going to have an auction as well, all to help raise money to offset travel expenses related to her diagnosis of endometrial carcinoma. That's this Saturday at the Lloyd M. Hall Community Center. Another Easter egg hunt to tell you about. This one, the first annual Sagersville Kiwanis Easter egg hunt coming up this Saturday. This is going to be in the city park. That's across from City Hall and the fire department on East Maple Street. Ages, they got different age groups actually, 1 to 4 and 5 to 7 and 8 to 10. So be sure and bring your own basket. They're going to have prizes, a lot of family fun. The Easter Bunny, of course, is going to be there. Might even get your picture made as well. That's this Saturday. It does not have a time associated with this. I'm just now noticing. I'll try to look that up and get that to you on tomorrow. That was just the way they sent the ad. There is another Easter egg hunt this Saturday in the Royalton community. You can contact Larry Lanning or Paul Bailey, Marlene Howard, or Karen Merritt to find out more, or you can just show up, kids. It's going to be this Saturday at 4 at the Dawkins Trail Park and Ride there. The trailhead on Route 7 at the mouth of Oakley. And adults, they need some volunteers if you'd like to help. They also need some donations of eggs and prizes or candy to stuff in them. And if you can help, give any of those folks a call, or you can drop those donations off at the Magoffin County Senior Citizen Center to Miss Marlene Howard. And sunrise services to be held at the Sagersville Free Will Baptist Church, 7 o'clock with Pastor Rick Goebel. That, of course, being this Sunday. Breakfast will be served afterwards, and then Todd Masters is preaching for Sunday services that will start later at 11. And our calendar is here to serve you each and every weeknight at 6 and 11, and elsewhere, of course, that you can find it on our website. Remember, the whole show is uploaded daily to our website, yournewstoday.com, which is also, of course, the SagersvilleIndependent.com website as well. Going on to funeral service announcements, services will be held tomorrow at 1 in honor of 82-year-old Berlin Gamble of White Oak, who passed away on the 15th. Preceded in death by his wives, Reba Tackett Gamble and Olivette Lawson Gamble. He's survived by sons Ronald, David, Ricky, Danny, and Michael Gamble, stepsons Randy, Tim, and Danny Haney, daughters Lisa Haight, Darlene Conley, Teresa Corinbold, Charlene Gamble, Selena Howard, and Angie Howard, and stepdaughters Easter Faye, Emma Smith, and Debbie Dartry. Visitation is tonight. Services start tomorrow at 1 from the head of Coon Church. At Sagersville National Bank, they know your house is much more than your home. It's an investment, and for many of us, the biggest we'll ever make. And whether it's for needed repairs and maintenance, or a new addition or renovation to give you some more room and more equity, let Sagersville National Bank deal with all the financial work and worry. Real and real competitive, hometown, homegrown, home improvement loans at Sagersville National. Whether it's for a little pre-vacation tan, or to look and feel better, or just to come and relax for a few minutes, get your perfect shade on at Tropical Isle Tanning with the very best in modern tanning. They've got 6 beds, including their fabulous 7-minute stand-up bed and their 12-minute super bed with bronzing bulbs. Or get a perfect sunless glow with Versa Spa spray tans, which are 20% off all the month of April. At Tropical Isle Tanning in Sagersville and Prestonsburg, open 7 days a week.
Car wrecks, truck wreck, disability, workers' comp, slip and fall, wrongful death. Your case matters to you. Your case matters to us. Contact McFarland Tinker Law Office. With our combined experience of over 58 years, we're here ready to work for you.
Founded in 1974 on the idea that we all deserve and need the very best in medical services and patient-oriented care, but at reasonable prices we can afford, Big Sandy Healthcare and Hope Family Medical Center have also put together a team of professionals and providers, all at one location, all with you and your family in mind. With pharmacy, dental, lab and x-ray, pediatrics, adult medicine, behavioral health, and more. Come see us for anything at Hope Family Medical Center in Sayersville. It's a new day of deals every day at Parkway Gun & Pawn, with an always new selection of like-new musical instruments, power and hand tools, not to mention jewelry, games, guns and ammo, and popular hard-to-find electronics, from Guitar Hero to amps to a pro-quality karaoke machine just in. It's all here today, gone tomorrow for pennies on the dollar at Parkway Gun & Pawn. From brakes, exhaust, suspension, fluid changes, to expert collision and auto body, to turning your 4x4 or diesel from mild to wild, get real auto maintenance, paint, and repair at Black Smoke Performance in Dixie of Sayersville. 349-8785. I'll get to the rest of the Magafu County Board of Education meeting at a later date, possibly as soon as tomorrow, but tonight I had time to pick out one very interesting topic. The school calendar always is, and we're going to see some significant changes to it next year. They're able to make these significant changes, I think, in anticipation of not having to change the calendar after it begins. Of course, our school calendar is always fluid. You got to factor in snow days, illness, other days that, of course, are quite common, flooding and what have you. But they're hoping that with another motion that was made last night, they'll be able to keep this new, adjusted calendar intact.
Some notable changes for this calendar compared to last year is later start date. Then there in the month of October, typically out on a Thursday, Friday, Monday. But with this calendar, it'd just be Thursday, Friday.
The day before election.
The day before election day, we will be attending school. And then in December,
Pretty much
get 2 full weeks off for Christmas break, but running all the way until December 20th for last day for students and staff. then going back on January 6th with Martin Luther King Day off. No days off in February or March, but I'm sure there'll be some snow days mixed in there somewhere.
Yeah.
And in April, a little spring break of Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, April 8th through the 10th. And the last day for students of May 7th. Any questions for Mr. Watson? What's the wishes of the board?
And with that discussion, the board voted in favor of the new and amended school calendar for next year, which once again will have students starting a little bit later, and the other changes also therein that you heard. Also related to the school calendar, it won't have an immediate impact on the calendar, but further down the road, it will. As was discussed in a previous meeting, the board last night approved and has submitted now officially their application to request NTI days, which will give them the flexibility of 10 non-traditional instruction days that will help alleviate some of the issues with being off as much as we often are for mostly weather, but also illness and other factors, which will, of course, hopefully go towards keeping, they say, that newly amended and updated calendar as it is and not have students getting out closer to or up into the month of June next year. Now, your Licking Valley RACC forecast, we've got a storm system winding up, working its way into our area. It's coming out of the plains. It's going to give us some winds. It's going to give us some shower chances as well, possibly some thunderstorms. And we're looking at all of this to begin late tomorrow night. Your Good Friday, I'm sad to say, not so good weather-wise. Saturday, certainly not so nice either, but just in time for Sunday, we see a bit of a break. Starting with tonight, partly to leaning more towards mostly cloudy skies that aren't going to make any precipitation, but nevertheless, some cloudy skies out there tonight and southerly winds 3 to 6 miles per hour. A comfortable low at right around 56 degrees for your Thursday. Partly sunny skies again. Temperatures are going to continue to climb up to about 81 again. A beautiful day in the neighborhood. There is a chance of some sprinkles tomorrow afternoon during the day, and that's pretty much it. The southerly winds are going to be noticeable out of the south-southwest, 5 to 11, maybe up to 24 miles per hour. So partly sunny, definitely breezy, and that will be the situation through most of your Thursday until Thursday night. Mainly after 2 a.m., that's when our next setup brings us showers, continued winds out of the south, 9 to 16 miles per hour. And then for your Good Friday, sorry to call this one like this, but it's not going to be that good and may have to force some rescheduling or cancellation of some Good Friday events. Showers likely, possibly thunderstorms. Temperatures are going to plummet and fall down to around 54 degrees by 4 o'clock Friday afternoon. Winds out of the south, still 7 to 15 miles per hour. We will see chance of showers. We will see some showers, a chance of some thunderstorms. I think maybe up to 3/4 of an inch or so during the entire course of your Friday, with showers likely continuing Friday night and a low of 41. Sorry, it's not going to be a good Friday weather-wise, but in all other senses it will. As for your Saturday, showers likely. We are talking about 48, 49 degrees for daytime highs. Also a very dismal Saturday in store. And around 40 degrees with a still continuing chance of showers that night. The good news is Easter Sunday's forecast is still quite nice and quite dry, mostly sunny, and 72, and only partly cloudy that night, and a low of 52. Monday of next week, mostly sunny and 78, 58 that night, and partly cloudy. Tuesday, our next chance of showers works in, 78 and mostly sunny, a 10 to 20% chance. Wednesday, midweek, mid-70s, mostly sunny, and still about a 30% chance of some showers. And before I say goodnight, let me say this, just a very few of the things that you're going to only be able to find in tomorrow's edition of the Sackersville Independent. Our editor, Heather, only sat down with a local author who has written a work titled 14-Day Fiancé. That was all she had before he passed. and she's pinned that, and it's about to be published. Our Easter coloring contest winners, man, you want to see some cute kids. We've got them. Child Abuse Prevention Month, recognized here locally. Harold Whitaker Middle School softball success in Wolfe County tournament. The old page takes us back to April of 1999's Easter events. Also, some Beta Club hits, I believe it is. Fireman of the Month, and some other great things. Hope you pick up an issue. Get you a subscription if you haven't already. Best way to make sure you're always in the know, besides joining me each and every weeknight at 6 and 11. Thanks for watching.